I don't know if you guys had anything else that you wanted to touch on from Dev Camp. I know that we didn't do a show last week, but it sounds like Nesbitt had some standout moments in the scrimmage. Obviously, Martone is a guy that everybody thinks is going to have a legit chance to make the team. Alex Bump, I think, maybe has the inside track of all the guys that were at Dev Camp, including like the Luchenkos of the world who didn't suit up due to injury. Bump to me kind of seems like a guy who probably has a really good chance. Ant, was there anything else that you had heard around Dev Camp or any other names you want to kind of float out there for people to kind of have an eye on going into camp, in a month or so?
No, not at all. And I think that you've basically just covered. I think Alex Bump is the guy that probably is going to get a gig. The Flyers coaches and staff won't say that. You got to earn your spot, right? They don't want to put it out too early. But from everything I hear behind the scenes, like they are very excited about him and think that he's going to be a player in the NHL, and not just a guy, but a useful player, very good player. And they're excited to get him into camp and get him on the roster. So, that's the one that I think is probably the most telling from development camp.
One of the comments here ties that to Tyson Forster, the injury to Forster. Is there any updates on that, guys? I've read a lot of different types of things on Twitter or X rather, that somebody said he's going to be ready for camp. I've heard other people saying it won't be till perhaps early into the new year.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of conflicting reports, and I don't think anybody really knows. Do you have anything to report on that, Ant, at all?
I don't have anything new to report on it.
Right.
But I will stick by the reporting I already put out that they don't think it's good, and they think it's going to be a bit before he's ready to play.
Okay.
And in fairness,
I'll go stick with that for now.
Ann had the report out there about, was it the bicep, right? And then Danny came out and he had the presser where he said something about an infection in the elbow. And it seemed like there was an update a few days ago that kind of talked about the elbow again. Remains to be seen, right? Guys,
so just here's what I'll say about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
And without giving away too much. When you have an infection, which he did have an infection, just because that's where the infection started doesn't necessarily mean that's where it was contained.
Or vice versa. I mean, you could theoretically have an issue with a bicep or a tricep, and the infection winds up in your elbow. That's not unheard of. Okay. Yeah. So 3 names that I think most people are kind of talking about as ones to have an eye on going into camp are Martone, Bump, and Luchenko. And so I want to throw this to you guys we're in the middle of July, but if I gave you those 3 names and I said, based on roster slots, let's just assume that Forster is not ready for the start of the season. How many of those guys do you think ultimately could end up on the opening night roster? Like if everything is equal, how many of those 3 would you say, yeah, that's a pretty good likelihood that it happens out of Luchenko, Martone, and Bump? And I guess I'll go to you first.
Max 2.
Yeah.
I'd say 1 for sure, possibly 2. I don't think all 3 are going to make it. I don't think Jet Luchenko is going to start the year with the Flyers. Now, it comes into camp, it blows him away. Maybe he does. I know that the Flyers wish that the new CBA were in place this year, because they'd love for Jet Luchenko to be the one guy that you're allowed to say you're able to play first rounder, able to play in the American Hockey League before the age of 20. They'd love for that to happen, because I think that they're a little bit like they don't feel like you're going to develop a lot playing on a weak team in Guelph. They're not a very good team there. What is he going to do there that he hasn't already done in junior hockey? They would like for him to take that next step competition wise. But the good news is that Guelph won't be a good team. Maybe he gets traded in junior hockey, ends up on a better team. If not, if the Phantoms are better, maybe he makes a longer run with the Phantoms at the end of the season. He gets some more time in the AHL. So, it's not the end of the world, but it's also not the greatest situation.
The NHL club can't have any kind of an impact on that, though, right? Like an in terms of like a trade with Junior, there's nothing that they could theoretically do to try to, I don't know, influence.
There's always backroom conversations of some kind,
Sure.
right? But no, it's not. Those teams are run on their own, and they make the decisions for their teams, what they see, they think is best, and how they see fit.
Bundy, I don't know if you have a read on these three guys and how many of them you think have a realistic shot of making it. But is there, you could throw that out, but is there also the thought of you only want to have a limited number of these guys that will be making their NHL debut at the start of the season? Or do you think you just go by whoever impresses the most out of camp?
Well, I think because last year, and I mean, obviously Martone's at a higher level than Luchenko because he was picked higher in a deeper draft. But I think for sure you're going to see, at least if he doesn't make the team and come out of camp saying he's looking great, he's at least, I think, going to get at least that look for the 9 games to start the season. But again, I don't know if him going back to junior, I don't think is as much of an option as maybe him going to college route if he doesn't make the Flyers. Mm-hmm. I don't know that for sure. I'm just speculating what might be the best avenue for him if they don't think he can play. But I'm going with Anthony on this, and I think it's going to be 2 guys. And the 2 guys I think that make it for opening night are Bump and Martone. And that's not a shot against Luchenko at all. I think they have a thing in their mind that he needs a good year of development for what he's looking at down the road and what they want him to be. And I think that avenue is best suited for him being able to play a lot of minutes against better competition he's going to see in Guelph.
I'll tell you that Martone playing in the World Championships with NHL players is a big thing. It's a big deal. He got to spend a month playing hockey with NHL players and really kind of getting a sense. So in a lot of ways, what he's already had the ability to do is what usually that 9-game trial period at the beginning of a season is for teams, for young prospect players. Porter Martone's already had that in a sense, playing international competition with NHL players. So he might have a leg up on the ability to make the team. And now look, the Flyers are going to sit down with him and his agent. They're going to have a conversation, and they're going to really try and figure out what's the best course of action for him. But guess what? Like if he's not going to try and make it in the NHL and go to college, that decision has to be made
before he goes to training camp. Right. Yeah. He can't go to, I didn't clarify that either, because a lot of people are talking about it. You can't be a professional and then go to a college afterwards. You have to maintain your amateur status to do so. So you can't have been paid. You can't have played a game in the NHL and then go back to college. It's just not feasible. So he can't take that 9-game tryout, which the Flyers have in their hip pocket if they want to use that to give him an extra look, as he will as a high first-round pick. And they'll be able to take a look at that situation. But do I think college route is where he's looking? No, I don't. I think he's looking at making the Philadelphia Flyers for opening night roster. That's my guess, and that's what I think the Philadelphia Flyers want. I agree with Anthony. Also, I think that experience that he got in the World Championships was huge for him, to be able to see like Sidney Crosby, guys like that in action, being their teammates, getting a taste of the next level, I think has helped him exponentially in the last 3 months.